we do have a catch-all. Just,
$100, yeah.
but I don't know what you're talking, I mean, we're talking about shop towels, I mean, it's kinda hard to.
Baby wipes, shop towels, and they thought even clothes. And it'd been going on for some time, and the problem had been going on for some time, and it caused quite a bit of damage. They had to dig up and replace part of the line.
Well, they could still be responsible for damages that we incur if they result in damage to our system.
Yeah.
They, not necessarily fine, but they are responsible for damages caused to us.
We do have two particular lift stations where we have those issues,
Hmm.
and they have been known to have to buy new grinder pumps for us because it would damage the grinder pumps when these items would come through. I won't name them right
Right.
now, but we do have two in particular that we have that issue with.
I don't know
So
if any. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
that's okay.
Well, I didn't know if anyone with the department had come to you about the problem I'm discussing, but
This has been going on for a long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So every time it happens, we know where it comes from, and they have to pay for the pumps.
Okay.
And you can tell them repeatedly, and it doesn't make any difference.
No, in the case I'm discussing, it probably wouldn't.
Mm-mm.
Till you hit them in the wallet hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want me to add that, or do you wanna
Or
maybe I do a separate ordinance kinda addressing that
which,
issue?
which you think would be the best way to handle it?
I would like to go on and.
Can I tell you how we do now and see,
Yeah.
right now, when they go out on a sewer call, if the supervisor comes back to me on their service order and it'll say it had overflowing with wipes or whatever, what I've been doing is noting that addresses account and sending them a letter, telling them no more items like that, and if it happens again, then they will be charged. And so we keep up with it that way. I think I've had to bill maybe two people, cause it usually, but that's what we've been doing, but we can do something else.
In this case, it was, you know, the problem was at the bottom of a hill. There were like 7 houses above, and that's where, they were saying we'd have to put in cameras. We think we know what the problem is, so place one camera and we could probably solve this caper. But I would like to see it because it did affect at least three neighbors in the neighborhood. They had to call out plumbers to work because they thought there was a problem with theirs, and it wasn't. It was a problem from another neighbor that was abusing the system.
What I could do is go on and leave this as is,
Mhm.
and then try to address your issue and maybe run it by you before I present it. At
Sure.
First reading, just to
That's
see
that's
if
fine. I'm
kinda
perfectly
give you
yeah.
time, but this doesn't really address what you're.
No, it doesn't. I'd mentioned that. That's fine. If we want to do a separate ordinance for that, I'm fine with that.
Kevin, in your case, thinking about it, and everybody's on their own separate line that comes from the main.
Mm-hmm.
So if one person's doing it, it shouldn't affect their neighbors unless there's a lift station there. If there's a lift station and it all goes to the lift station, then it could be an issue. But everybody should be on their own service line that runs from the main that will usually run in front of their house.
Right, and
So they shouldn't be stopped up from their neighbors.
it stopped up in the line coming down the hill, and without it being sealed joints, they're just it's a like a more like a I guess a pressure joint. But when it backed up, it's going to find the path of least resistance. It came out further up the hill. It came out into yards, ditches that stayed wet with the foul smelling. Yeah, so it backed up to the point that it affected other neighbors' yards.
You need to get with me later on that because nobody's reported that to me.
Okay.
You?
I think is that the one that the crew's been working on last week?
Yeah,
I knew they were.
Oh, it might have been the week before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would think people know what can go into a sewer line and what can't.
They do.
But just for general information, I didn't know until not long ago that we shouldn't be dumping Kleenex in there.
I've heard that, but I don't know why Kleenex
Well,
would bother anybody.
I don't either, but I quit doing it.
Yeah. I don't think, maybe the lotion Kleenex, I don't know.
I don't know, but I
of
heard
any,
it somewhere.
I don't know of any reason that a Kleenex would stop
Well,
anything
you
up.
wouldn't think
Mm-mm.
that if toilet paper doesn't,
Mm-mm.
Kleenex wouldn't. I don't know.
I don't think So, anything else, guys, on that? Are y'all satisfied with the amounts that is put in there? Okay. All right. We'll move on to department reports. Todd, you have anything you need to tell us?
And we, had senior services, we retired four, we got 6,500 foot of main put in on all of, and they're almost done with leak survey.
How many mains in Old Olive?
6,500 feet.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, you're moving along, aren't you?
Gas it up this next week.
Okay, good. How long are you thinking it'll take you to finish it?
I don't know, we still got quite a few easements to go farther there, so we're
Okay.
gonna go the other end and start on all of that.
Okay.
But we're still working on these.
I can't imagine anyone not signing an easement to get natural gas.
We've had a couple out there, we've had to cross the road.
Okay,
But we'll make it.
okay. It's a shame. Okay, the fire department had one structure fire, 3 accidents, 2 ambulance lift assist, 5 first responder calls, 3 false alarms, 1 transformer fire, 4 weekly truck inspections, 5 special details, and 3 hours of monthly training. Busy. The water plant has changed out 125 meters to the radial read meters, along with their regular duties, taking care of the water plant and getting the swimming pool ready to go. The maintenance department had 109 water and/or sewer locates, 8 sewer calls, 7 water leak repairs, 2 water taps, spring cleanup, cleared ditches and drains, brush pickup, city and code enforcement violation properties. And we'll move on to the police department. Okay, any questions for that? No? Okay, we'll move on. Sounds like y'all was busy guys. All right, I need approval for the regular meeting of April 21st, 2025 for the minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll move on to mayor council items. Kevin, do you have anything?
Same 2 things. Do you know, is there progress on water feature at the dog park? Has that moved forward?
You know, I haven't talked to Jason about that. They've been so busy with the flooding cleanup and
Yeah.
everything that's going with it. I don't think
Understandable.
they've even looked at that, but I'll
Okay.
make a notation.
Okay.
Okay.
And probably along the same line that either collapsed or partially collapsed culvert on Colonial, I think.
It's ordered, is it? I'm not sure if that's in, but I know it's ordered.
It's not in yet.
Okay. No, I don't mean put in. I don't know
Oh,
if
you
we
mean
have gotten
in,
it in.
has
Yeah.
arrived.
Yeah, it's a
Gotcha.
bigger culvert, so he ordered it from somewhere, I'm not certain where, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we've gotten it in yet. But I
Okay.
know it's on the list.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. That's all I have.
Okay. Sylvia?
When is First Responders Park, do you know when they're supposed to start doing anything with that? I've had a few ask me and I'm like, I'm not sure, I'll find out.
They told me that they were gonna try to get started right away with the tear out. So, but, Kevin, the engineer, has been out of town for a couple of weeks, so I'm gonna say probably in the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks before they get started.
Okay, probably start getting
I
some
hope so.
demolition.
I hope so, and I'm ready.
Okay, cool. All right,
Okay.
good deal. And then, whenever you made that post about what the community, like, what else they wanted to see, so splash pad was obviously a pretty big topic, and we've already kind of talked about that. And then pool, updates to pool was something that I saw a lot of people talk about.
I think it was the shade. Was it the shade?
Well, I saw some people say that they wanted like a bigger pool, just different things. I did like a little, I put together a proposal just for, and I'll give everybody a copy of it, that just goes over like what we have, what they're looking for, ways to generate funds off of it, grants that you can apply for the project, if it's something that we think that would be beneficial. And it has, like there's an inflatable dome option so that it can be a year-round facility. Anyway, it's a lot of stuff, but I just thought everybody should look it over, and if you decide that you want, more information, then we can kinda go from there. And then the second thing that I'm passing around just goes over like some other, areas that did something similar, so.
Okay.
I just did that, and like, we don't have to discuss it now, I just wanted everybody to get a copy of it, and I can also email it if, I don't know if I made enough copies, but if I didn't, I can send it over, so.
Okay.
That's all for me.
All right. Oh, Ann, do you have anything?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay. Yeah? Daryl?
I got a Facebook message from a friend of mine that's on there, and they said I don't know who to tell them to call, that's why I'm asking, but I guess they paid $500 to a plumber and found out that the repairs were on the city side, so who they need to talk to about, I guess, like reimbursement of their money. I don't know.
They didn't call up here and talk to anyone?
I don't guess, I just got it a while ago,
Okay.
I'm scratching my head, so.
They need to call up here and talk to me or Beth or
Okay.
whatever. Give us an address and tell us who the plumber is and
Okay.
let us talk to the plumber. So it's not been repaired, I assume.
I found out, yeah, they had to pay $500 only to find out that it was on the city side, so I don't know if they've had it done or not, but
Okay,
I'll find out.
okay. Yeah, tell them to call up here and talk to, probably need to talk to Beth
Okay,
and we'll get more information from them.
all right,
Okay,
that's all I got.
all right.
Thank you.
You know?
Just glad to see you.
I know, so glad to see Ann back.
Yes.
She looks
I'm glad to
good.
see you.
Sight for sore eyes, isn't she?
Yes.
I don't have a whole lot, y'all. I met with an engineer today, and we discussed some water improvements, some water line improvements that we need to do, and we talked about replacing the water tank out at Southwest One from a 500,000 to a 1 million-gallon tank, and make it much taller so that the telemetry between it and the one on Sailboat Lane we'd end up with more pressure and be able to service any business that were to move into Southwest One. And it has about a $6 million price tag, so Judge Spraggs and I have been beating the bushes and talking to everybody that we can find and trying to get some help through the legislature, through the state for that. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. We also went up to the park and looked around and trying to decide the best place to put a splash pad. So I think after we drove all through the park and looked at everything, the flat area across from the pickleball court is gonna be the best place. So we'll have to start applying for grants, see if we can get some community support from some different businesses, you know, maybe would help do some sponsorships. I don't think we'll have a lot of luck with grants. I think that a land and water grant possibly might be our only option. And I've been told here lately that people that have applied for splash pads are only getting about 100. I'm not saying only, but are getting about 150,000 on that grant.
Sure.
So
I think that's a good space.
I think it's a real
It's a
good
developing
space.
space anyway.
Yeah,
so.
very good space. We own a little garage up there where a house burned down years ago, or was torn. I think it was a meth house, wasn't it? And we tore it down.
Yeah.
But anyway, we own a nice sized
What
garage.
kind of house was it?
I'm sorry?
What kind of house was it?
Meth.
A meth house. I was like,
Yeah.
did she say
Yeah.
meth house?
Yeah, it was a meth
Okay,
house.
cool. Yeah. Got it.
I think I was on the council at that time, but yeah, and it's a good sized building and we use it for storage right now, but when the engineer looked at it, he felt like that would be a really good place because you have to have the same filter system and all that as a swimming pool.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to put all that in there, and he also thought it was large enough to do a bathroom
Perfect.
in the same building.
It'd be
So,
wonderful.
yeah, it worked out really well.
It'd be
And,
beneficial for the
yes.
pickleball court. Maybe we could kind of
It'll be
piggyback the
good for
area,
both.
right?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah,
So all they
perfect.
have to do is cross that little street to
Yeah,
get to the
wonderful.
bathroom.
Yeah.
So, and then the gas company had put aside in their new budget $30,000 we're gonna make some parking area because there's so many pickleballers now that they're running out of room to park anywhere. And that would also help double as, a parking lot for the splash pad when we get to that point. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of room. Yeah. plenty of room. The only thing, and I meant to call Ross at Benton Electric today, and I didn't get him called. There are power lines, so there's a large water main running through that lot over there where we're talking about, and we can avoid that easily, but there's also some power lines, and I have in my mind that we can't build a splash pad underneath the power lines. So I'm checking with him on that. There's one major set of lines running through, and then there's two smaller ones running the opposite direction.
I'll be going to the meeting tomorrow. I'll check.
Will
on
you
it
talk to
too.
him? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
See if I-
good.
See
Yeah.
if I can get the scoop on it.
Okay, that'd be great. So I just had that in my mind, and I may not be right on that at all. It may not interfere, but I think
I
we
believe
know.
it, I believe it is against the, tell you the truth.
Okay,
If
okay,
you get
I'll
them
check
into
on
the
that
water,
first.
it is.
Okay,
That's
okay.
one of their requirements.
okay, then it can't be under power lines. Okay. So we've got plenty more area to put it away from the power lines, so, but, maybe do the parking.
Well, it may
In that
move the
area.
power line. If
Yeah,
it has
do
to.
that.
Do what, Bud?
Move the power lines, it says.
Move the power line if they had to, I guess.
Well, I don't think they would. I don't think I don't think
But
we'd
they
have
would
any
either.
luck there, but we'll keep pursuing every avenue that we can find to get grants and see if we can get community support with it and try to get started on it. Other than that, I have nothing. So, I need a motion to go into executive session, KRS 61.810B, deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real estate, and KRS 61.810C, discussion of proposed or pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? All righty.